think it's not sure, but the other option is the 499 Meta Quest 3 headset, which has a lot better pass-through and better resolution. It's a little more expensive, but you are getting more of a premium product. But honestly, at 199, the Quest 2 is an amazing product. So if you want to get into VR, this is the moment. You do not need a computer. You do not need anything else. You can just buy it and it works by itself. Right, and then you have on the expensive side, if you can afford it, you got the Apple Vision Pro, which it's a lot higher, and but the experience also is a lot better, and the visuals are amazing, and it's selling actually. The reports say that it has been selling a little better than it was expected, so that's awesome. And there's a lot of apps that are being developed. And now one of the things that just happened within the last couple of weeks is that you can if you have a desktop that's powerful enough, you could stream any VR application to your Apple Vision Pro, so you can get the full experience even if you're not a Mac user. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of the softwares that are out there for VR 3D modeling. So I just wanted to highlight the main ones. These are the biggest ones right now. The first one is Modeler. Substance 3D Modeler was created by Adobe. It is a branch off of Medium, which is a software that was originally created for the Oculus original headset, so like the Oculus Rift. Substance 3D Modeler is now part of the Substance Designer suite of tools that Adobe sells, which comes with Substance Designer, Substance Painter, and a couple others. So if you already have that subscription, you should already have access to it because it's part of the subscription. And it allows you to do sculpting in VR. So you can see in there, there's an image of somebody sculpting a car. So yeah, you can sculpt whatever you can imagine. The tools are using your controllers, so it does use controllers. If you're using the Quest 2, you'll have to plug it into a computer, because these are all the ones that I'm covering here are modeling in desktop. So if you already have a desktop, or if you have a computer that's powerful enough for modeling, these are the kind of softwares that you would want to use. So for example, if you want to design a car, you can use Substance Modeler, and you can create a base mesh within the software. You can create it into pieces by taking it to different layers. We can create your wheels separate. You can also apply materials within the software. It's really a full VR sculpting software where you can create 3D assets. And these 3D assets can then be taken to a CAD software, and you could potentially print them, create a little 3D print if you want to use them. And I think Hackerspace can talk about that in a little more as well. But another option is the Autodesk suite of tools. So Autodesk has Maya, and Maya has a plugin within it that's called Create VR, which allows you to create content using VR. I mean, it's in the name. But the idea is that if you already work with Maya, you can bring your model into Maya, and then in the viewport with this plugin enabled, you can just enable the VR mode, and you can switch back and forth between that VR mode and your traditional desktop modeling software, which would be Maya in this case. Another option is ShapeLab. This one's available on Steam. It's like $70. It's a great option. It allows you to do sculpting at very high detail, just like Substance. Substance also allows you very high detail modeling and sculpting. And these are models. The models you create in any of these software can be used outside of them in a CAD software. You can export them as OBAs, as STLs, the traditional type of file formats that are used for 3D printing and that are used in the CAD industry, or even just as assets for if you're creating a game or you're creating something else. Another one that I have here, which is one we're going to cover, the one we're going to cover the most, which is Gravity Sketch. Gravity Sketch has been creating, they started it was a startup that was creating VR designing tools for designers mostly, but it's really a full featured 3D modeling software at this point for VR, specifically for VR. And it is available on the Quest standalone, so you don't even need a computer, a desktop computer to run it, or you have a desktop version that you can use. Another one is Masterpiece X. This is also an amazing piece of software. This one is very unique in that it also lets you simulate different uh, it lets you simulate different versions of the same model. So think about it, if you're whether you want to create something and you want to see a life, you can kind of animate it in the software, or you can simulate a specific movement. Let's say you're working with a robotic arm and you want to see what your robotic arm is going to do. You can simulate the movements within Masterpiece X. Right. And then the last one is Blender. So Blender supports VR, but it doesn't officially have any tools to do VR modeling. But there's a plugin called Freebird XR, which is a plugin dedicated for Blender. I think it's open source. At least I know for sure it's free. You can download it. You can see an image here where you get this virtual menu that's attached to your controller. If you cannot borrow the controller. Right. So you have this virtual menu here. It just comes off of the controller and you can see it. And then with your other controller, you can select things on that menu directly. And because it's inside of Blender, this is just a one press button. If you're already using Blender, which is a software that is very common for 3D modeling, you can switch between the VR version where you're using your controllers and the desktop version where you're just using your mouse and keyboard. Yeah, it's just a download. You go to the website, it's at freebirdxr.com. Yeah, so if you go to that website, you can download as a plugin for Blender, I believe. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I mean that's a great point. I should actually cover that. That's a good point. To be able to access any of these headsets, once you have a Quest, you have two options. You either have AirLink or you have USB link. The USB link is it's a cable that you connect as a USB cable. You can connect it to your Quest and connect to your computer. Or you have AirLink, which is an option within the application. Once you've installed the Oculus software, and you've downloaded and installed AirLink, you can actually connect from your headset to the computer without even having a cable. So that's an option. So if you wanted to get Blender working with VR, you would have to connect it through AirLink or the USB link. And then once you do that, you will launch this plugin once it's installed from Blender, and that would open yeah, that would open the VR experience. Yeah, so you have two options. You can just use the default link. I think this plugin supports the default Meta Oculus setup. But you also have the option of using Steam VR, which is another software that's available to use VR, which you can download. And I'm going to show all of these softwares towards the end. How you can get access to them, the links to them, the website where you can download them. Okay, so these are the main modeling options, VR modeling options for desktop. Then the other thing I wanted to cover, because I think it's very important, a lot of people are in the CAD industry, in the engineering industry, and it's the software for the CAD software that's available in VR. And the first one is SketchUp. So SketchUp has a VR, it supports VR, but it doesn't have any VR modeling tools. So you can see your models in VR once you use SketchUp, but you can't edit them or change them within the editor. But there is an extension called VR Sketch, which allows you to edit the models, makes all sorts of configurations, and it even lets you bring them into if you have an AR headset like the Quest 3 or the Vision Pro or even the Quest 2. The Quest 2 has pass through as well, but it's black and white. It lets you bring it into the world. So if you've created something or you're planning to build something in real life, you can bring it into the world and place it where it would go, and you can see it there in AR, right? And you're seeing it from your headset how it would look like in real life, right? So very powerful, and it's within SketchUp. SketchUp is free. It's a CAD software. Okay. Then the other option is SketchUp also has viewer beta, which is a standalone application for the Quest that allows you to take any model from SketchUp and bring it into your MetaQuest standalone. So it doesn't need to connect to the computer. It just works by itself. And finally, we have MindDesk. MindDesk is more of an enterprise solution. If you work with software like SolidWorks, AutoCAD, more Inventor, Autodesk Inventor, any of those software, you can use MindDesk to connect it to a real-time tool like Unreal, for example. And by connecting it to Unreal, Unreal has VR support. So you can now view your environment in VR and edit it within VR. So that's what MindDesk does. Also, MindDesk by itself lets you view the models in VR and edit them, and it lets you collaborate with other people as well. So you can bring multiple people to let's say you're reviewing a design you made, and you want to bring in some of the other people who are working on that design. You can use the software to view it all at the same time, and I'll show a little bit of that too later on. Okay, and then the next option is, let's say you don't have a computer that's powerful enough to run any of these, right? So you just want to buy the headset, you want to get started, right? So you have Gravity Sketch, which we'll talk about more. You have Shapes XR. Shapes XR lets you import models, but it's mostly intended to plan. It's a planning tool. But you can import models and create different shapes, and you can create menus. You have a lot of options. It's very varied what you can do, but anything that you can imagine you could create in Shapes XR. The tools are not designed to create things like cars, for example, which Gravity Sketch can do a little better, but they're more for prototyping how something will work before you actually build it. And then Masterpiece X also has a standalone application. This is a full sculpting software that you can download to your Meta Quest, and they're all of them are free to use. Okay, so I just want to give a feature comparison. Maybe this is a little bit small for the people in the back, but I can read it. So these are all the softwares that I've mentioned so far. So mobile support, Gravity Sketch, Shapes XR, and Masterpiece have mobile support, and SketchUp, the version, the viewer, has support, but it's a beta. And the other option is it CAD friendly? Meaning, can you export to OBJ? Can you export to STL and those USD, the universal format? Yes. So Gravity Sketch, you can. Masterpiece, you can. Substance 3D Modeler, Maya, Minddesk, Shapes, XR, Blender, and SketchUp. All those. The only one that's the exception is Shapes XR, which you can export models, but it's a little difficult. It's not exactly like the other ones. The other option is, can you live update or integrate with a CAD software? So if you're creating something in real life and you want to integrate with a CAD software, which one can do that? So a lot of these options cannot do that. That's why I put the X here. But MindDesk it's one of those options that could do it, as well as Blender and SketchUp, because they have plugins already that work with these software. So this plugin is on top of Blender or on top of SketchUp, and SketchUp is already a CAD software, but Blender has tools already that connect to existing CAD software. And then from here, AR support, Gravity Sketch has AR support. So AR support is that I created a model, like let's say this is my model that I created, it's virtual. I can put it in real life and compare it to other models to get a true sense of scale by using AR. I can see my real environment. So Gravity Sketch has that, as well as SketchUp has that as well. Okay. And finally, the feature comparison. So, sorry, the price comparison. So some of the prices here. So Gravity Sketch and Shapes XR is fully free. If you have a large team, then you have to contact their sales team for more information, because they don't have publicly available pricing. Masterpiece is $10.99 a month if you are in a team, but they do have a fully free option. Then you have Substance 3D Modeler. If you buy it from Steam, you can just buy it for $150, and it's a one-time payment. But otherwise, Adobe has a subscription model. It's the same for all the Substance tools and all the other tools. And I believe it's like $49.99 a month, or depending on the tire that you get. If you're a student, you get a discount. It could be $20 a month. Maya is a very expensive software. It costs around $2,000 a year, but Maya is a full-fledged software used for animation, modeling, and it has a lot of features. And then there's MindDesk, which The Mind subscription, if you work a lot with CAD software, if you want to create a lot of real things, that one's $500 a year. Shapes Lab is the cheaper one of these, of the paid options at $65. And then SketchUp has one of the VR Sketch one that I showed. That one's not free. That one's $9 a month, but they do have the other one, which is the one that's native to the Quest, which is free to use. Okay, do you want to talk about? So just to give an introduction, this is what we're going to talk about next. This is what you would have to do if you wanted to create a project today for using Gravity Sketch for creating VR models. The background here is we thought, okay, what's something simple that we can show people, something that you would do in your house that you would want to maybe 3D print or create a little project. And since we were working with Hackerspace, we thought this would be a perfect opportunity to give an example. And this example is, imagine you have a pair of headphones. Yeah. Oh, somebody's trying to join. You want to admit him? Okay. So imagine you have a pair of headphones, but you don't have a stand for your headphone, right? We've all had that problem. So we thought, well, we should make a cool one that you can 3D print. And I don't have a 3D printer, so all I can do is create the model and maybe send it somewhere to get 3D printed. But maybe the Hackerspace people can help us out with that. But what we did is we just created a quick model that you can create in 30 minutes.
Something quick. All right. So I'll just explain that example that we did quickly. Well, getting started. So one of the app that I used was the Polycam, which I used on my iPhone. You can literally get that app through Android or iOS. So what I did was I went in the app, I downloaded the app, of course, and then I uploaded, I think it was like a total of 50 images. But when you're in the app, it does give you an option to do a video record, which I tried and I failed. So with the video, I was going around, but I guess I was moving a little too fast. So it kind of like the meshes was just this poor portion. So, so with that, so after I uploaded the images, excuse me, after I uploaded the images, I got the 3D model and then I exported it to like a HFTL. So I would be able to get it online. So after I got the model, I wanted to, do the headset. I wanted to do a stand. So I went on Sketchfab and I ended up getting a hand model. I ended up getting hold on 1 second. So I went on Sketchfab and I ended up getting a 3D hand gesture model. And it's right here.
The idea was, we want to create a stand for that headset right there. So we're trying to scan the headset,
Yeah.
right? So that we can then create the stand with a real headset.
Exactly.
So that's why we're scanning the headset.
And this was the original image, and this is what it looked like after I scanned it in the Polycam app. And then once I exported it, I wanted to get the stand for it. So I got it on Sketchfab. And once that was done, I ended up using Gravity Sketch. Gravity Sketch has this online form. It's called, what was it called again? Launching Pad. So once you upload that scan on Launching Pad, you can access it in any device. So, and since I already had it uploaded in my VR headset, and I was able to, there we go. So once I already had it in the VR headset, I just uploaded the image. I just uploaded the scan to the app that I had in the Quest. And with that, I was able to do the pass through. So this picture right here, image scaling and Gravity Sketch, is just showing that I scaled the image to kind of match the same scale as the original headphones. And this is the hand gesture I wanted to use as a stand. So I can put the headset in. And so with the stand, I did create like a base model using a cylinder. And
You can see it in the first image right there. That's the
yeah, right here.
cylinder.
This is the cylinder right here. And you can use that in Gravity Sketch to be able to do the modeling. And we do have a short video of the whole process.
So the idea is you're using the real scan and you're creating your stand with the real mesh of the real scan.
Mhm.
And the stand is a hand, right?
Yeah.
So you're placing the scan of the real object within your virtual hand, which is something you can't really
Mhm.
do in real life because you haven't created the hand in the first
Exactly,
place.
yeah.
Right? And so it's an amazing way to do it using Gravity Sketch.
Mhm.
Again, here's some
And-
images of the results, so you
Uh-huh.
can see there's the hand right there. You can see the back of the hand here, right? And there's the front of the hand, right? So it's a stand that was created for the headphones, and then you have the real headphones here next to it. So I can visualize my headphone stand before I even make it, and it's all to scale because I can compare the scale of it in AR to the other headphone. So you can imagine this is just a simple example of a headphone stand, but you can imagine it has use cases everywhere. On anything you make, you can create it, and you can scan something that already exists. You can modify, improve it, and then visualize it next to the thing that was there already. So the original model, and compare your improvements to the original model in real life to scale. It's really powerful what it can do. This is in Gravity Sketch, how you can export. So the same web interface that allows you to upload the models, you can also export them out from there.
This is a short video of the process.
The results.
This is not working.
You can see there's the real headset right next to it, and there's our 3D stand ready for print on using the scan of the headset. So this was all done under like 30 minutes. This is the first time you do that, right? How
This
did
was
that
my
feel?
first time doing it too.
Right. For somebody who's not experienced, it was like fairly easy, right?
So if you're new to it, if I can do it semi-leaf, then you guys will be able to do it too. You're new to it.
Yeah. So if you have any ideas that you want to create in real life, this is just a quick example to show you how you can use VR modeling to bring something to life, how you can use Gravity Sketch. And I think we're going to show you something live of Gravity Sketch. I think so people can get a better idea of how it works.
If you have your phone, there's a bunch of apps out there. So if you want to start 3D scanning, there's stuff out there that you can use to upload in other softwares.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, why don't you show the Gravity Sketch or set it up, yeah? So we can show how this works in real life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So any questions? Yeah.
Oh, it was like 53 pictures. So when you go through the app, it does give you an option to take pictures or you can take a video. So all I did was like I have the headphones, like I would have it here and I would just go like this. Just take a bunch of pictures. Yeah. Yeah.
Any other questions?
I struggle now. It's some of like chat speakers, but
Yeah.
my thought is if you're trying to track the models and things, sometimes you're precise. Can you hit that in VR and like how?
So I think there's a lot of benefit in maybe using both if you want to get real precision. I would imagine that somebody who's trying to get really precise would already have experience with 3D modeling. This example, obviously, it wasn't as precise, but it works anyways because you're comparing it to how it would look in real life. So it's a real model. That's the real dimensions, right?
Richard online wants to know if you can use AI with 3D like Lume AI? Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you definitely can't use Loom AI to generate 3D models. Since we brought that up, I want to show an example from one of the ones I covered. What is this? All right. So masterpiece piece XVR. Let's try it. So this one is one of the softwares that you can access on the Quest. Today, it allows you to generate 3D models if it loads. There you go. So yeah, one of the big things that they're promoting now is, you generate 3D models that you can then start use as your base mesh to create anything else. So here they're showing a character. And Masterpiece allows you to animate, so you can do a little more than just create models. But let's see another example here. Right, so you can import it into any editor that you want, like Blender, which we talked about, but you can generate different types of models and use them as a base mesh to create whatever you want. So you have two options. You can scan a real model, you can generate a model, so you don't even have to be an artist anymore to get at least to get a basic model going. Obviously, if you want to be really good, then you do definitely need to be an artist. Yeah, question in the back. Yeah. So that's why we wanted to show the gravity sketch, because you can't modify it in AR. And everything you saw there in that presentation was all done in AR. Right. So these images are, you see the controllers here? These are the controllers actually editing the model in AR. So when we were in the app, we were moving different parts around. It's really hard to showcase because when you're actually doing it, you're standing behind, but in VR it looks like it's right there, right? But in a video it doesn't look that good. So that's kind of hard to replicate. I think the best videos are when they do those mixed reality videos, but then you have to have a whole setup, and we're just trying to show an example. So this is an actual screen recording from the headset, everything you're seeing here, right? So here we're placing the model up close, and here we're scaling it. Here we're placing a cylinder, right? And she's going to show more in detail, hopefully. Any other question?
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, right.
Gravity sketch, yeah.
Yeah, so that's something important to mention. The Gravity Sketch lets you create an account that you can access from anywhere where you access the app. So the Gravity Sketch app that's already on the Quest, you log into it and you're accessing the same account just like you would have with a Drive, like a OneDrive or Apple Drive, Apple Cloud.
In any device.
So we were able to do this just from a phone. So you don't even need a computer for this one. You can just access the file from a phone. You can download it from Sketchfab. Sketchfab is available on your phone, right? So we didn't even need a computer because everything was done within the phone and the Quest. Yeah. 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 Or even think about planning. Like even if you do know how to make something, you could plan the design ahead of time, see what it's going to look like, and then make it in real life. And it saves you a lot of time. Question in the back? Yeah, I think there's a lot of sculpting tools for tablets, but it's really hard. Oh, yeah. So actually that app, the Polycam app, you can see it in AR and place it here like on the table. The same model that she scanned, as well as the model from the gravity sketch model that we created, the scene can be exported out as an OBJ, and you can bring it into any AR app and show the model in real life to showcase it. So yeah, absolutely. As a viewer, you can do that for sure. Yeah, ready. Any other questions or we're good?
Oh, I gotta get my computer. So for everyone online, I'm hoping that this will work. I apologize if it doesn't. But essentially, I'm gonna be casting from the Quest to show you Gravity Sketch, how to use it, importing files, exporting files, and they're all gonna be in object file. And then afterwards, I have two Oculuses, if anybody wants to give it a shot within Gravity Sketch. Okay. All right. So, I'm sorry, we're dealing with an echo. I'll do it this way. So on this page is Gravity Sketch, and they had already covered the pricing for it. But you can see with the individual, you get the full suite. You also get 3 collab rooms, and you get 3 collaborators within your own room as well. For 3D printing, in particular, if you're wanting to import or export with Gravity Sketch, you get 3 3D downloads per month, which is not that bad, especially if you're just working on a large project and you're just using it for, I guess, for drafting, for prototyping. You can import as many reference images that you want though. So, and those are very valuable within Gravity Sketch once you get used to the planes handling, or the controllers as well. So to start with Gravity Sketch, you would go ahead and hit the Get Started button here. And from there, it's going to take you to the landing pad.me. I'm already signed in, but I can tell you right now, it only likes Outlook.com emails or Google emails. Anything else it does not like. So you'll have to sign up with one of those type of emails. But once you get in, this is what your main room will look like. And from there, you can see that I've already imported a file that I was working on a couple of months ago. And I'll have that shown within within that application. And we also have the collab room where if I had the VR connected to that and I was in that room in particular, I could connect from my laptop, or anybody can connect to it if they have access to it. And from there, while they won't be able to model anything within that room that I'm in, they can use like a laser pointer to point at certain parts of the model, or they can even use like pencils and markers to make notes to you throughout your sketch. And then let's do this. This is the fun part. I'm just waiting for the menu to come up. They are fixing this too, to where you can actually have your headset down for a while and then still like be able to see through the casting. But they haven't fixed it yet. Give me just a I keep on wanting to look under. I have a huge menu here, and so I'm just like wanting to, yeah, you can switch it over to your screen. I'm still waiting for it to connect. It's the collaboratory, network, because it's, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so that's MindDesk. That's one of the things it does. This is for the AR pass through or in the HoloLens. Oh, this is in the HoloLens specifically. So if you have a HoloLens, you could do that. But this works as well in pass through. So you can imagine if you're building this thing, you can see it in AR and then you can modify it from there. Right. So that's an example. Another example I have here. Let's see. This one. Wait. It's an ad. Let's see if the one that doesn't have an ad. Ah, they all have ads. Okay, so here's the SketchUp one. Yeah, this is a pretty good video. This is showing you're working on SketchUp, right? You have your 3D modeling software for CAD. And then any minute now, we will switch to VR. So it's kind of a back and forth process. Ah, there we go. So that's the same model, and now you have it in AR. Right, so you can edit on the desktop and then look at it in scale. Yeah, and yeah, there you go, and your literal desktop. Yeah, it's pretty great. And then you can model in it. You can move things around. You can change. You can do measurements. I mean, this is more of a CAD oriented software, so it's going to be more measuring, more things like that. Okay, and then the last one I wanted to show before she goes in, this one hopefully. Ah, there we go. So this is what you were asking. You see, there's an admin. This is the person hosting, and there's two guests here, and this is the desktop view of the same application, and they're all in VR, right? And they're editing at the same time, and then here you can see the headsets from the other users, so the admin can see the two guests here, right? So they're editing within the same space, right? So you can see they're working on different things. One person is working on this thing in the tires, the other person is working on something else. Yeah, so it makes development a lot faster. Cool. Something else I wanted to show was, oh yeah, the SketchUp one. It's not directly available, but it is in, let's see if it loads. Yeah, it's on so some of these apps are in beta. So this one's in beta. You have to sign up and join the beta and subscribe to the beta channel. So do be on the lookout for that, because you can't just go to the store and get it. So you have to find it online. It's the only way. Okay, let me see which else. Oh, and then this one, you asked about this one for Blender. Okay, let me just finish this one. That's it. So let's see, there was a little video that was great for this one. Let's see if I find it. Ah, there we go, right here. Play. Ah, there we go. All right, so you're in Blender, you hit Start VR. And now you have this menu that's attached to your controller, and you can draw shapes. There you go. And you can start your modeling from them. Okay, I think that's it. Let me go back to, yeah. Where's how do I get back? Ah, there we go. And there you are. There's Gravity Sketch. You should turn on the pass through so people could see that. It is the Quest 2, so it's not gonna look as good. But you just have to grab your headset and like drop it from your face. Yeah, like that. No, no, not literally grab it. Not literally grab it. No, no. Yeah, just with one hand. I mean, that's what I did and it worked. You could go slow in there. Oh, but we lost the streaming or something. Did it work? You grab and you take it off. And that should be passed through. Do you see Do you see me?
So here's a model that I made.
So people can't see it. Sucks. Well, if you were inside the headset, you wouldn't see black. You would see, so they can see it, but they're seeing black, right? So you would see me, which I'm in front of her. Yeah, so there you go. Meta doesn't want you to see what people are looking at.
And we're putting it to our members. I'm also going to be including some for Pecklance as well, and so I figured I'd show you a very quick method of creating a really, all right one. It's not gonna be great, but. So we have our controllers in here. You can see that red ball, which lets me pretty much draw wherever I want. And you guys are fans of the Iron Man series, you know, when Tony Stark goes up and blows everything up. You can do that as well. You can move it wherever you want. You can make it as tiny as you want, scale it down, and then just, you know, continue drawing from there. Oh, okay.
That's it? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
There we go. So now I may run into things because I can't see my surroundings, but the nice thing is too with this, you know, I can grab this, separate it, and then just go ahead, or I'm sorry, this one, and then I can, if I just select that alone, I can scale it, versus if I grab nothing, it all scales. So with Gravity Sketch as well, they decided with the controllers, you're gonna have a whole bunch of hotkeys with them. So you get to learn that. The best function so far is the reverse function, which kind of goes ahead and sets everything back to where it was supposed to be, or where it was, you know, last step. You have your material button here. And so that allows you to decide, like, if you want to use custom made, like, you get to choose how things look. I apologize. I wish that's plain. So you got a fill tool that will only fill with the width of the material that you choose. If you hold your right B button, it'll bring up this menu here. And so say, you know, I actually don't like it being red. I go to this color palette, which is on your palm, select your color. You can color it immediately. They also have other materials as well that this one in particular I enjoy. So it gives you the outline while you're drawing. And it's nice because you can kind of see where it's merging into itself, which allows you to get that fine detail that you need. With these brushes, of course, if anybody has used any of Adobe products or any type of graphic design, anything like that, your brushes have a billion different things, different settings. So you really have to take time to customize it. For adding an image into, like if you want to use a reference image, for example, you'll go ahead, click on this blue button here, go to the import, and from the desktop, you can import it that way, or you can actually import it from the Oculus's internal memory. You click on the item that you want to import, just hit OK, and it disappeared. Yeah, it was in here at one point. Now I can't get it. But so you would import either a image file for your reference, or you can do an object file, like with the Hackerspace keychain here. For export, you can see it gives you all the different files. When it comes down to 3D printing, you're typically just gonna choose objects. You go ahead and you name it. There's more settings to it, save. And it's gonna go ahead and be exported to your cloud. And then from there, you can go ahead and take it from their, the Launchpad. I believe that's what they call it, the Launchpad workspace. And upload it into Blender or any other 3D model, 3D modeling program, and then migrate it over to a slicer to get it prepared for 3D printing, which can then convert it to the .stl files or anything else that's necessary for your slicer or printer. They all have but like I said, if you're interested, you're more than welcome to hop on to that Oculus over there or this one over here. Over here, everybody will be able to see you and what you're doing. Play around with the brushes. Or, you know, if you want to try any of the, like Sketch XR. Yeah. Or the other one as well that is on the Oculus. You're more than welcome to go ahead and install it onto any of these and give it a shot. Yeah, shapes like that. Oh.
Okay, you can do a like moving, like an all space of one.
No, I didn't even do the thing.
Like it was like
Well, open brushes. Any questions?
All right. All right, well, I want to thank everybody for joining. I think we're gonna call it right here. I know I just realized too that I didn't actually do the okay keychain like I said I would, but you know, it's really a application that you have to give it a shot, try it on your own. It can be really finicky, and I'm still learning all the hotkeys myself as well. So I am going to be ending the stream, but thank you for joining us for everybody online.